Well, hello there. How are you doing today? How is your Wednesday going? This is Anna coming to you live from Fort Lauderdale. Let's see, who do we have on today? I'm a little bit earlier than my usual time, but let's see, who do we have watching Facebook at the moment? Great, pop in and say hi, where you're watching this from. That would be awesome. Today we're going to be talking about building your business through social media. So if this is something that you find interesting, stay on. I will be giving you some of the tips and experiences I have, and a little bit about the training that I'm about to listen to, and also the one that I listened to this morning. So let's get started. So my question for you is, would you like to build a successful business using social media? So if the answer is yes, we will be discussing this in this video. I mean, not everything, because there's just absolutely so much, but I will be giving you a few pointers in which direction you need to go. So I'm really excited about that. If this is the first time you're watching any of my videos, my name is Anna Stropnik, and I help people get healthy, live longer, have more energy, better sleep, and also help them reach their time and financial freedom. So let's get started. So the world has changed. If you noticed, lately, we hardly ever communicate over the phone. Nobody picks up their phone anymore. Nobody has house phone no more. Everything is done much quicker at a rapid pace. And then if we are building our business the way it was built 20 and 30 years ago, on phone calls, we are relying on people picking up that phone, and what happens, that process is becoming slower, because we evolve, and our systems need to evolve as well. I was in a really great training this morning that was about building your business through social media, and some do's and don'ts, and some advantages of doing that. So let me ask you a question. So where do you, hi Carolyn, how are you? So where do you get your entertainment nowadays? You will actually, most of your entertainment you get through Facebook and social media. Nobody watches TV as much as we used to, because we get everything in our phones. Every single second you can get to where you need to go. It's you Google, it's YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. You see what's going on, and all the entertainment is pretty much from your social media. Where do you get your news? The same thing. People hardly watch news channels anymore. I mean, you can find everything, and first time you probably find out that something happened is through social media, and you're like, what, where? So that's another thing. What about games? There's games that even adults now play, and it's all on their phones, iPads, and all of that. So and then also another thing, where do we socialize? We socialize virtually mostly. We have more time spending time with people, talking on Skype and WhatsApp, and in checking somebody's wall to see what they're up to on Facebook or Instagram, rather than actually going in and having coffees and having lunches. It's just the whole world is working on much higher speed than it used to. And how do we communicate? So now we communicate with our friends and family through Facebook, through Skype, WhatsApps, all of those platforms. Now I just wanted to tell you, as my experience with Facebook. I was very skeptical when this Facebook started, and all of my friends started really early on in 2007 or whatever, was the first year when it started. So I was very skeptical about do I really want to have my personal life out there? And I was kind of like old school, and I didn't really care for all those like reality shows and all of that. I mean, how can people like expose themselves so much? But then finally, like in 2009, I finally gave in. I'm like, okay, well, let's see what happens if I open a Facebook account. And so after I did, and this was like late in 2009, so I was like one of the last ones that actually did this. So what happened, I started getting like friend requests, I started getting like connections, suggestions and all of that. And then I realized one really important thing. I don't know if I've shared my history with you before, but I used to work on cruise ships. I used to like travel the world, and I have friends all over the world, like in, I don't know, like probably every single country, like 50 different countries around the world. I thought, you know, like after like I was finished with that career, that there will probably be people that I will never speak to and never see ever again in my life. So it was kind of like sad. And then when I started with my Facebook, every single day, like sometimes like more than once a day, I would hear from someone who I haven't heard from in like 10 years, 15 years. And it was just such a joy. It's so great like catching up. So after that, I became like the raging fan of Facebook. Like that is my favorite thing to do. Like my husband says that I live on Facebook and on my phone, which is like pretty much true. So that's one thing that got me connected to my friends, and I stay in touch with my friends. The other thing is, some of you who know me, like they know that I actually reconnected with my husband on Facebook. We like lost touch, and we dated like 15 years ago or so, and we never like knew what, like lost our contacts. My email was hacked, and we never had like any idea on what happened to either one of us. So after 8 years of we actually reconnected and got married, and here we are, celebrated 6 years of marriage now. So another thing, I'm thankful for Facebook as well. And then also, how do we and also another thing is that I really like about Facebook is the Messenger. Because when I talk to somebody on the phone, or especially when I talk to somebody on messages, on SMS, I never really like them. Like they can always get misread, and I would spend like sometimes like hours like with my friends, like trying to figure out what did somebody really want to say with this text message, and why are they not responding, and like when should you respond. And it's just like became like totally crazy. And I don't think like SMS is a great way to communicate. It's very misleading too, but I love Messenger, and I'll tell you why. Because you kind of feel that you are more connected, because you can look at someone's wall, you know what, like whatever they posted that day, what they're up to, if they went on a vacation, if they're having a good day, if they're having a bad day, if somebody had a birthday, you know, you kind of know what's going on, and you can like have more quality conversation with that person rather than, you know, like text messaging, which like you don't know if you caught them at a bad time. Facebook kind of gives you that idea. So I really love that. So let's just talk about some statistics. So there's 2.5 billion people on social media. So I mean, this is a huge number, and just out of that, there's 2 billion people. They just said that today, that they actually made the mark of 2 billion people that are just on Facebook. And then there's like 1 billion people on YouTube, 500 million on Instagram. So would you think it would be it would be smart to actually connect and build your business through social media? Type in number 1 if you think so. I think so too, because like what's happening, these trends are not going away. This is going to be our way of life, and we need to adapt to it as soon as possible. So lots of things are changing. Like people are starting their own businesses much more than in the past. There's no such a thing as job security either. Let me just tell you one story. 2 weeks ago on a weekend, I was in Jacksonville for my convention, and I was talking to people in my company. So we were just chatting, and they were asking me, like, you know, how I'm doing, how long I've been involved, and all of that. And it come to realize that I was at the higher rank than they were, and they were like years longer with the company as me. And then as soon as I mentioned that I'm building like majority of my business through social media, they were like, oh, you know, we thought that was forbidden. They like went straight away, talked to their upline, you know, like put me on the spot. And I'm like, okay. So what happened was, so their upline was like, oh, you know, she was just explaining to them, oh, you know, those millennials, you know, they do that, but, you know, we build our business differently. I'm like, okay, you know, fine, you know, you are where you are, you're not seeing any success, you are not making any money, you're going to these events all the time, having like 3 people in your living rooms, you know, like times have changed, you know, that if somebody built their business like this 10 years ago, it's not working anymore. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do that as well, but you need to utilize what people are using today. You know, it's the technology that is evolving every single day, so we can't just expect that we're going to have the same results like somebody who did something like 10 years ago. It's the same like with any profession. If we don't educate ourselves, we just stay where we are, we don't grow. So I think this is really important to learn. And when I decided to get involved with this business, I very quickly decided that social media would be like the way to go for me. The reason for that is I'm at home, I work from home, I have a family, so I don't really have time. I have a little 3-year-old son. I don't really have lots of time going around, like attending different events or like having like something happening at my house too often, and like when it's like bedtime and school night. It just wasn't convenient for me anymore. So I invested time and money, and I learned, and I'm still in the process of learning on how to build successfully on social media. So let's just go over like few tips that I wanted to share with you today. And first I'm gonna go over like some don'ts, you know, the things that you shouldn't really be doing on Facebook or on any social media really. So more and more we have people, like I said before, joining home-based online business, but also we have more and more like spamming happening on our walls, in our messengers, in people like tag us with different like comment like their links and stuff. So don't do that, you know. Facebook and all the other social media are there like to socialize, to make friends, to build relationships. So when you're doing that, like nobody really like decided, oh, let me check on Facebook to see what's on sale, you know, or like wake up in the morning and say, oh, you know, let me see what I'm gonna buy today. You know, nobody thinks like that. So by doing that, you're repelling people from you. You're basically sending people away. Like if you continue posting like this, nobody's gonna like your post, nobody's gonna comment your post, people will unfollow you. So that's definitely one of the no's. What should you do instead? Well, you should be yourself, entertain people. So you can either entertain if you're if you have a talent, you know, like if you're funny and like, you know, with funny videos or whatever. But if you don't think you can do that, anybody can educate, you know, learn something and teach something, you know. That's always a valuable content to put out there. And also like nobody likes when somebody's boring, so like try to be entertaining, like try to like, you know, post cool pictures, you know, even if you have to take them, like retake them like 5-10 times, you know, but post cool pictures, post like fun stuff, you know, like don't, like boring is not attractive. So and also no negativity. I must say, this is like, I'm really I feel strongly about this. Like what you want to do on your profile is really, you want to post positive stuff. Nobody cares, you know, if you're having a bad day, if you're having something like a really if you want to just like complain about life, about whatever, nobody really wants to come on social media and see that. I kind of cringe when I see like people like ranting about politics and I don't know, like different accidents. Like there's so much negativity, and what I personally do, if that gets to me, like if I see every time I open my news feed and I see like somebody's like constantly posting like negative stuff and like bad news and accidents, and I don't know, I will just unfollow them, because I just don't like seeing that on Facebook. I like to have like a happy page when I open my news feed. So I don't think that's like a place for social media. And I know it's like probably like more attractive, you know, when there's like, that's why people are attracted to like bad news, you know, when something like happens, when there's an accident that happens on the road, you know, you will see like cars slow down, like taking pictures, you know, what happened. I mean, just people naturally get attracted to bad and negative stuff, and then they wonder why like all the negative stuff happens to them in their lives as well. So yeah, I don't like that personally on my wall. So also like be authentic and be your best self. So my biggest tip for you today is decide that you're going to do it. So decide that you're going to do it, plan it, do it, then review it. Make a new plan, see what works, what doesn't work, make a new plan, do it, review it, and so on. And that's the best way you will learn, you will grow, and I want you to make that decision now. So I also would like to invite anyone who I haven't talked to in a while. I would love to catch up, you know. I just talked to a dear friend yesterday that I haven't spoke to in like many years, that we just reconnected again on Facebook. And I love making new friends, and you're always welcome to message me. And thank you all for watching. I will be doing a little bit more on this topic in the future, but I hope you got some value from this as well. Thank you so much, and I will see you tomorrow.